Snow came early to the island of Sodor. It was heavier than usual. Most engines hate snow. Donald and Douglas were used to it.
That's an intriguing thought. Most of the engines hated snow? Why is that? The only engine us, the audience, are aware of that truly dislikes the snow is Thomas. Maybe Henry? If one wants to assume he made that his opinion after his flying kipper incident. But that's it. As to why Donald and Douglas were okay with this kind of weather, could be because of their geographical location. But hey, that's good for them because that lessens the burden for everyone else, as well as getting to fully digest their signature theme without any narration over it. And yeah, this is now the holiday rendition, with the sleigh bells being used in the background of the tune. Still though, it suits the two twins well. Most of the time, sweeping the snow off the rails was no issue. That is until they came upon a larger mound and realized there was more to it than just snow. Underneath was Henry, and they soon got him out. Okay, so if Henry didn't mind the snow before and after his flying kipper incident, then I'm sure he doesn't like it now. But even with after rescuing Henry, both Donald and Douglas weren't their jolly selves.
The twins were glum. They told him that the Fat Controller was returning soon. He'll send us back for sure. It's a shame, said Percy.
Oh, don't be so down, guys. You got the support of practically everyone else, which is rare to see most of the time. Gordon, Percy, Henry, and James were all in agreement with one another. They all felt Donald and Douglas were doing a good job, even after their mishaps from the entry before. This is also the most unified these characters have been since the end of the Dirty Work episode. The twins weren't sure, though, so leave it up to Percy to try and fix things. Later, he talked to Edward about the situation. Edward said they needed a deputation, and Percy eagerly went back to tell the others.
Edward says we need a deputation. Of course, said Gordon. The question is, what is a desperation? Asked Henry. It's when engines tell the Fat Controller something's wrong, said Percy.
How did I see this coming? Poor Percy, trying to sound sophisticated. Even funnier is the fact that Gordon went right along with it. His face mask for that response is gold. Of course! As for Henry's line, yeah, they're in desperation all right. But being that Percy was the only one who knew what the deputation was, Gordon likened to the idea of nominating him as their delegate. Percy wasn't ready for that, though, but it was too late. Sorry, Percy. But he who volunteers first normally is the one doing everything else. That's just how it works. Not long after, Top Hat was back, and right in front of Percy, to whom of which he was not ready for his elevator pitch.
It's Donald and Douglas, sir. They say, sir, that if you send them away, sir, they'll be turned into scrap, sir. That would be dreadful, sir. Please, sir, don't send them away. Thank you, Percy. That will do.
That actually wasn't that bad considering he wasn't ready to begin with. Top Hat at least showed some attention to Percy, though. Once he figured out what he was going to say, things could have gone a lot worse, that's for sure. Sometime after, Top Hat had a meeting with the Tidmouth shed occupants. There, he congratulated Donald and Douglas on their work and agreed they deserved a new coat finish and permanent nameplates to avoid further confusion. Although, I don't see how this was the final decision when clearly in the last episode, both Donald and Douglas had nameplates already. Come on, Top Hat, you're not getting that old already. Anyway, with that said, the engines couldn't help but ask whether or not that meant they were allowed to stay. So Top Hat attempted to clarify.
It means, but the rest of his speech was drowned in a delighted chorus of cheers and whistles. The twins were here to stay.
They better be able to stay. They both have proven themselves to be more of a help than a nuisance. Everything that happened to them in Breakfan was because of other forces. Yeah, Donald's accident is still unconfirmed whether or not the rails were truly slippery, but I think we can give him the benefit of the doubt. But really, none of this would be 100% A-OK if it were not for Percy having the idea to step forward. And of all engines, Edward giving the advice to have a deputation. Bless that number 2 tender engine, man. He is all sorts of good. Now as for Top Hat, it's really not revealed as to what he was thinking when he returned to Sodor. It was never made mention by him what he was thinking on about the twins. He doesn't even hint at anything when he clarifies with Percy that he is the deputation. However, this isn't absolutely necessary to know because in the end, Top Hat shows once again that he is a controller who believes his engines try to do their best for the right reasons, thus believing they all deserve second chances. As for the rest of the engines, it was great to see for once that everyone was in agreement with each other that Donald and Douglas deserved to stay. To see all the engines raising each other up is gratifying to see. Not too much is done with music this time, other than getting another crack at the Twins' theme song with the holiday spin on it. There's also Top Hat's theme when he finally speaks to the engines, but we all knew that was going to be heard anyway. Locations haven't changed much either right now. We continue to get the same areas that have been shown to us before, like Sudbury Castle, Tidmouth Sheds, and the Watermill. These are the most notable shots. What really makes things stand out, though, is that this is the first episode that involves snow in this season, with those new scenes. There's even unnamed spots like the valley area on Thomas's branch line that we finally get to see covered in snow. And what I continue to enjoy about how the series is doing this is by using what looks like flour. This really looks like snow, as to how later seasons might use other materials for snow. But we'll see when we get there. Next episode is Thomas Comes to Breakfast. Thanks for watching.